So I want to focus on more on left-hand literature, and then I didn't realize until I started to learning about you, and repertoire for the left hand first came in early 19th century.
It started, actually, you're so correct. It started in the early 19th century, and it's because concert pianists or composers back then, take Liszt, for example, we know that he was a fantastic composer and a fantastic pianist, performing a performing concert pianist. And that was often the case,
Mm-hmm.
Bartok, he was a composer and pianist, and, it was always often the case. And often when they were performing their concerts, they would play on irony because most people in the world are right-handed.
Mm.
So your left hand tends to be your naturally weaker hand.
Yes.
And so the composers would play a left hand alone piece
Mm-hmm. Mm.
as a bit of a play on irony. You
Mm.
thought I was good with two hands. Wait and see what I can do with my weak hand, my left
Right.
hand.
Right.
And so they play this big bravura piece, and
Mm.
the crowd would go wild. That's an encore or something, and the crowd would go wild.
Mm.
And then obviously we fast forward
Mm.
in time, and the First World War happened. And
Mm.
again, for the same reasons, if you were in a war situation,
Mm.
most people are right-handed. Therefore, statistically, you're more likely to injure or lose your right hand in battle.
I
So we
see.
had hundreds of thousands of servicemen coming back from war, and they had their right arm injured or
Mm.
missing or amputated.
Mm.
And then one particular man, Paul Wittgenstein,
Mm-hmm.
the most
Mm.
famous left-hand pianist, he
Mm.
came back and used his position in society, his wealth. He was a hugely wealthy man from the
Mm.
Wittgenstein family, and he commissioned all of the really big celebrity composers of the day
Mm.
to write
Mm.
for this already present left-hand tradition. So
I
he
see.
expanded on the 19th century, and obviously
Right.
this is in the 20th century now. So
Mm.
then all of a sudden we get this huge influx of huge commissions by Prokofiev and Benjamin Britten and Richard
Mm.
Strauss and obviously Ravel,
Mm-hmm.
and all of these really huge names of the 20th century
Mm.
then were writing left-hand alone work. So the repertoire
Wow.
very quickly expanded during that time. So then, and thankfully, that meant we had 19th century rep, and we've got a
Mm.
really huge bulk of 20th century repertoire. So yeah, I mean, really, thanks to him and thanks to Paul Wittgenstein and his
Mm.
steely determination of how to carry on his career, he's the
Mm.
reason really why I'm then able to go out and play Ravel's Left Hand Concerto, Britten's Diversions, and all of these concertos. And there's I think the current count is something like 32 piano
Mm.
concertos for left
Wow.
hand. Obviously most of the time I get asked to play the Ravel Left Hand
Mm-hmm.
Concerto or Britten Diversions.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many other wonderful works which I haven't had the opportunity to perform myself yet, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. It then comes down to programming, and
Mm.
you know if you think, if I owned a concert hall that sat 10,000 people,
Mm.
I know that Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto is going
Mm.
to be far more popular than
Mm.
if I programmed one of these lesser known concertos for left hand. So of course I understand that and how that works.
Mm.
But unfortunately, it leaves these concertos, even though they're in my repertoire,
Mm.
I haven't actually performed them with orchestra yet.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, I didn't realize, but it's amazing how these historical backgrounds affect, even the piano literature, how it's evolved. And these days I'm sure I've heard you playing, what's his name, Godowski, left
yeah,
hand etude. That's one of the most difficult things ever to do.
it is. It is tricky.
Yes, I know. And I tried a few just because, I'm right-handed. So just to make the left hand stronger, I've tried a few. Oh, they were just impossible, but
Yeah, they're
wonderful.
tricky.
Yeah. And then, but you